Um, I'm glad to get this video out for you guys in time. I feel like there's some possibly much needed advice that might be coming through. I remember the last month's reading that I did for you. It came out a little bit late, and I apologize for that. But I feel like many of you were in need of some guidance. Like you feel a little bit stuck. So I feel like you were watching videos, looking for some answers, looking for some confirmation, and especially, validation regarding the path that you're about to take, the decision or the choice that you're about to make. And so I see this reading as a little bit more of like a continuation of that. But I do see a lot of changes have also taken place. So you might have made some major decisions. And so we're kind of like in a resting phase, okay? Waiting for things to kind of like play out. And so I hope this reading finds you well. I hope you've enjoyed the holidays with your loved ones, your family members, and that this resonates with you and that it's also helpful and pertinent for you as we navigate the energies for January 2020. Um, so I saw two images for you, actually three. So let me just relay all of them because I have a habit of like forgetting. As soon as I relay one, I start talking about the cards. I start to forget. So first of all, I saw this rag doll. It's just looking at me. So it's like a Raggedy Ann doll. It's made out of like yarn or some type of canvas material. It's very beige and very bland. Okay. Um, the doll has like brownish, auburn, dark brown hair, and it has black buttons for eyes. So the buttons are kind of sewn onto the head of the doll, and then it has like a little button nose, and then the mouth is made from it's like a smiling face, and it's made from stitches, like stitching, kind of like the line on the football. So it's like stitched up and curved into a smile, and then it has cross stitches across it. And so I'm just staring at it, and it's just staring at me. It's just looking at me. It's not really moving. And I'm really drawn to the stitching on the mouth, okay? It feels to me like it's something forced, like a forced smile, something that's not natural, but it's just created that way, or like a forced smile or forcing a smile. And then the fact that it's stitched up, I just feel like it wants to talk. There are things that it wants to say, but it's stitched up, so it can't really, say, okay? So that's the first thing. The second image that I see this scene in the office. It's like a very mundane office scene. It's strange. So there's this man, he's in an office, and he's kind of walking around. There are like cubicles, right? He's just kind of walking around, looking around. He's probably like in a managerial or supervisory position where he's kind of looking at the employees walking around to see where everyone is and to see if anybody needs him. So he's not surveilling, he's not doing that. He's just there in case they have questions, in case they need him. So he's making himself very available to his subordinates, right? And he's wearing like a gray suit. He looks really nice. White shirt, gray suit, and a really dark blue tie. Um, he looks like he's about 40, 45, 50, so around that age group. He doesn't look like, he exceptional. Like, there's nothing about him that really stood out, but I just feel like he looks really nice and he has like, charisma. And there's this woman, she looks about a little bit younger than him. She's walking by and they kind of look at each other. He's like following her with his eyes, not in a creepy way, but he's kind of looking at her. And then she turns the corner and she looks at him. So like it was weird. There's no conversation, there's no talking. Okay, and this is like on the heels of looking at that doll, and that doll is just looking straight at me. It's not really saying anything. And so this scene too, the two people are just looking at each other, and she's wearing a white blouse you know, the button-up blouse, and she's wearing like a gray skirt. So everything is really like gray and white and just kind of bland, very professional, like office environment. And they're just kind of looking at each other. There's great chemistry between the two of them, but they're just kind of looking at each other, watching each other pass by. And then as soon as she kind of disappears around the corner, I see him holding his hand like this, you know, and he has a ring. Okay, so I was thinking like, oh, he can't say anything, he can't make a move, he can't do anything because he's married. So that I was thinking that. And so then it drifts into the next scene, and this is where I'm starting to forget. So I'm glad I'm trying to say this out for the two, for you guys. Um, I can't for the life of me remember the third picture. Okay, so I guess we'll just move on, and then hopefully, if it's important, it'll come back, or as I talk about the cards, it'll come back. So I apologize. So when I saw that first doll, I was thinking, this is definitely you. This is your energy, Pisces, because I feel like you have some secrets that you're keeping. Okay, and I feel like it's not one of those things where um like juicy gossip or anything like that. I don't feel that way. I feel like there are things about your life or about you or what you're dealing with or what you're experiencing where you feel like other people might not understand. Other people might not be able to put themselves in your shoe. Okay, and I feel like, you know, the concept of like you're going through the motions, and if you meet people and you know they're sitting there kind of venting to you about their day, about their kids, about their dogs, about their work, about their job, about their life. And I feel like this I feel like there might be a situation where you're kind of listening, you know, kind of like half listening, and you're thinking like, you know, wow, if you walked a mile in my shoes, the problems that you're saying right now are not really problems. You would know that these aren't really major problems. And so I feel like for many of you, you have been through a lot. You have accumulated a series of life experiences from a very young age. And I feel like you have dealt with, you know, a lot of hardships. So I'm feeling that. And I feel that for many of you, you know, a lot of the times when we deal with hardships and adversity, we can either grow from it and, you know, flourish and thrive, or we can kind of let it take over us and make us jaded and bitter. And I feel like there were times in your life where you took it in strides, okay? You're just like, it's okay. I can weather this. I can get through this. I can drudge on. I can, you know, fight another day, and things are going to get better. I'll turn around the corner, okay? And then, you know, I'll look at life in a different way, or things will get better. It's like that light at the end of the tunnel. And so I feel that you might have gone through a series of these life-changing moments or events, or, you know, even significant events. And I do feel at a point where you are starting to feel a little bit jaded. You are starting to feel like, you know, this is not what I anticipated. This is not what I planned. This is not what I had in mind for myself at this age, at this phase in my life, at this station. So I do feel many of you are at a point where you start to feel the heaviness of it, the accumulation of it, and it's starting to weigh you down. Okay? And I feel like the spiritual advice here from the universe is we plaster on a smile and we keep going, okay? And kind of like that doll, okay? The smile is kind of like plastered on, and it puts on a brave face, it puts on a smile. So from the outsider's perspective looking in, they look at you, and you know, people that look at you, they're not aware of everything that you have dealt with. And so I feel that you feel as if you can't really relate, you can't really tell people what you've been going through because they don't understand. Some of you feel like, I need to soldier on. I need to handle this on my own. I need to be strong and I need to just, rough it out. And I do sense that there's a willing listener in your midst. There's somebody, like possibly even a group of people that are more than willing to, share your experience if you let them. There's support around the corner. There are people that are interested in what you have to say. And so it would be beneficial for you to kind of like give your experiences a voice, you know, to be able to express what you have been through and to be able to confide in another person and to be able to, just kind of like not have to put on that brave face when you feel like you've had a crappy day, not have to plaster on a smile when you inside you don't feel like smiling, when inside you're just like in turmoil, you're stressed out, you're not happy. It's okay to display these other emotions, even though you might not feel like they are pleasant. I feel like people are trying to get to know the real you. And it's important for you to kind of like allow other people in and to share what it is that's on your mind, and to also understand that you have willing friends, you have willing listeners, you have others that are trying to get to know you, that are trying to, understand what you've been through. Okay. I feel like for many of you, um, and I felt this for a really long time that I've been doing Piscean readings. You guys love very sincerely, very naively, and very wholeheartedly. Okay. You love with your mind, your heart, your body, and your soul. And I feel like a lot of the times, you might be aware, people do take advantage of you. And so it is really important for you to be cautious and discerning about who you give your time and your energy and your resources and yourself to. Okay? A lot of Piscean people, there's this a little bit of like of a savior complex where you might be attracted to people that might be a work in progress or might be a project. So that means you want to play the role of the caretaker in the relationship. You want to take care of them. You want to make them better. You want to fix whatever is broken. You want to, heal all of their ills. And just to be fair, for yourself and also just for the equality in the relationships. Relationships are supposed to be give and take and equal. And so when you give so much like that and expect nothing in return, it sort of like disincentivize the other person to step up, to give in equal measure and to, come to you correct. And so what I feel here is a process where you have been giving a lot of yourself and you feel you're starting to understand that, the people around you or the people that you have given a lot of yourself to might not be worthy and might not be able to reciprocate and might be taking from you and might be selfishly just, like leeching off of you. And so it's really important for us to, once again, demand what it is that we want from other people. And when something is not fair, it's important for us to give our grievance a voice, okay? Say what you mean and especially demand what it is that you're worth, because I feel like you have left a lot of things unsaid. You have put on a brave face. You have allowed I don't want to say that it's a process where you're not conscious of it. I feel that many of you are conscious of it. Many of you are very conscious of the fact that you give a lot of yourself. You try to hold back, but you don't know how. One of the major things that you need to learn is to, put up your defenses. Take care of yourself. Nurture yourself first. Let other people wait. Okay? Because I can assure you, you're dealing with very impulsive, like emotionally irrational people who are very, very impatient. Okay? So, what I'm feeling here is you have a bunch of people around you who are very impatient, just like very impulsive, very rash. So if they want something, they go to the first person, the most convenient person, or the person that's closest to them. They ask for that. And then while the other person is mulling over the decision, they get impatient and then they go to the next person. And so further down the line, they're going to get to you. And so if all of those other people have not responded to them, and they're going down the chain, right? And they get to you. If all those other people they've approached have not responded the way that they want, and they're coming to you, what makes you think it would be a good idea for you to respond to them and give them whatever it is that they're asking, right? And then I also feel like you should also understand that they're soliciting other people as well. And so you saying no is not going to hurt them or affect them personally. Does that make sense? So don't worry about them getting mad. Don't worry about them being sad. Don't worry about hurting their feelings. Because I feel like you're just one of the people in a chain or in a string of people. And so if it doesn't bring you um, comfort, or if somebody is asking a lot of you that would really inconvenience you or would really bother you to give to them, then don't do it. Pull back your energy, okay? So enough about that. So going back to the original message here, I feel like, the way that you're showing up here is the High Priestess. I'm seeing a lot of like female empowerment in this spread. Role reversals, or like at least, gender role reversal. And then also defying or kind of like overturning gender stereotypes or expectations, which is great because I feel like, we all embody the feminine and the masculine, and we have to exercise, make decisions and behave in a way that where these two energies flow harmoniously. So every once in a while, we need to step up, operate more from that yang energy, like the more masculine energy, when we are assertive, when we are aggressive, when we go after what we want. And then in interpersonal relationships and in our lives and the way we treat ourselves and the way we treat others, sometimes we have to, step into more of that yin energy where we are nurturing, caring, and soft, okay? So this spread indicates to me that for many of you, you're operating more from that masculine energy, stepping up and demanding what it is that you need, what it is that you want. And then I also feel somebody else from outside of you, somebody else, another person, is bringing you this drive, this ambition for you to want to do more, to demand more. Like they're making you aware of your needs and your wants and your purpose, and they're making you crave and desire a lot more from your life, okay? Whatever you're not getting, I feel like you're becoming more demanding. Like, I need that, I need this. And then also, with this High Priestess, this is about inner knowledge, inner knowing, self-awareness. And we can't really go out into the world and create things, manifest things, and even demand things unless we know exactly what we want. So this is the burgeoning or the very beginning of the process of self-awareness. Okay? Because for too long you have lived in this space, Seven of Wands. This is sort of like, I don't want to hog the limelight. I don't want to, be the center of attention. I don't deserve it. I don't want to, upset other people. I don't want to make demands for myself because that feels selfish. And in a way, you do feel that way. You do feel that by making demands out of other people, I'm making myself more important than other people. And yet, other people have always made demands of you. So, just a little bit food for thought. Because you don't want to be in this position. This is the limelight. This is somebody with a lot of other people looking on. You don't want to say no to people because you don't want to make them angry. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You don't want to put them in a rough position. And so I feel like, you cater to, you help, and I feel that you give and give and give because you don't want to be in this position where you feel like, who am I to make demands? Well, you are important too. And it's really, this is the month for you to come into that sense of awareness that, every time I give of myself when I don't want to, I deprive myself of that time, of that resource, of that energy. And energy flows, okay? But it's also very finite. If you give and give and give, you end up very depleted. And so there needs to be an equal exchange here. And I feel like for such a long time, there hasn't been an equal exchange. And then this also leads me to believe that you're dealing with somebody that might be taking from you, sapping you, sapping your energy, your resources. Resource comes out very strongly. And then you are aware enough where you're just like, okay, I'm pulling back. I'm drawing my limits. I'm making my demarcation in the sand, right? And then as soon as you draw back, you set your limits, the other person is just like, why are you selfish? Why are you holding back? Why are you not helping me? And so they're starting to make more demands of you, and they're starting to think that you're unreasonable. And, whatever this is, it could be guilt tripping, it could be throwing tantrums, it could be whatever it is. I just feel like it's making you reassess. It's making you reassess whether or not you did the right thing. But I can assure you, you're doing the right thing because you're really drawing back and you're really taking care of yourself because you understand that it's important, okay? And that the other person also needs to be able to handle things on their own. For many of you, I feel like you're really thinking about, your savings, your retirement, your resources, checking your bank account, talking to like a financial planner, um, talking to somebody about financial planning. Okay, so this is the Eight of Pentacles. And I feel like in this card, it's about, creating more of something, working your magic, investing, thinking about long-term yield, thinking about avenues for you to invest your money, to invest your resources, how to make your money work for you. For some of you, this could even be buying property, making sure that your property appreciates, and then, wanting to keep it for a certain amount of years before you sell off the property. So I feel like you're doing some massive maneuvering, okay, conjuring things up, manifesting, as well as like talking to somebody who might be very savvy when it comes to financial resources, like a financial planner or even an investor, so that you can make things work for you. I feel like you're facing there would be a lot of people around you. There's like bickering I'm seeing here. And I'm seeing like people might not agree with the choices that you make, okay? People might not agree, but you have your heart set on something. And so you don't need to, explain to anybody. You don't need to justify yourself. You don't need to justify the decisions that you're making for yourself. And so you have the gift of insight and intuition. And, I feel like this is a very good, like, savvy sense when it comes to business. You know how to make money. It's just when people pull from your energy, that's when you find yourself very depleted. And then I also feel like there might be bickering, there might be disagreements, there might be things are happening around you where people are not really agreeing or in accordance with like whatever it is that you're planning. They're trying to talk you into a different avenue. They're trying to talk you into doing something that they want. Whatever it is that they want is not appropriate for you. So stick with your gut instincts and stay on your course, because I feel like other people's opinion really shouldn't matter. It should not matter. For others of you too, I'm feeling almost like you're thinking about leaving a work environment that might be a little bit tenuous. Okay, so I feel like there might have been a lot of like it's very cutthroat. Five of Wands, bickering, mindless bickering, not seeing eye to eye, ideological differences. And then we have here the Seven of Wands. This is kind of like a cutthroat environment where people are willing to kind of like exploit somebody's weakness. Whatever someone says gets used against them, or, somebody throwing somebody else under the bus. So I feel like there's a situation here in a work environment around you, not happening to you, it's around you, where people are a little bit childish. The environment might be a little bit toxic. You might not think that you're moving. Um, you know, there's like no vertical movement. There's lateral movement. You're getting the same pay in a different position, possibly same pay, same grade or whatever it is. But I feel like there isn't, like upward movement. And so you're making plans to see what other options are available for you. You're kind of spinning your wheels here, and you are seeing that, and you're also coming into the awareness that the longer you stay here, the more that this hostility or this this energy in the work environment is going to kick up. The more longer you stay, the more dust is going to gather, and you're aware of that, and you're trying to check yourself out and figure something out. In the meantime, things are still I feel like it is still stable and safe enough, but you are exploring other options. And that's why I feel like, you're keeping your plans very close to your chest. You're not sharing your ideas. You're not sharing your plans. You're not really letting a lot of people know about it. Hence that smile on the rag doll's face and the stitching around the mouth. There are secrets that are not being said. Okay, so moving on to this portion of the reading. This is a relationship here that I'm seeing. Okay, so we're gonna move this away. Um, so going back to that second scene that I saw. Okay, it's just the man and the woman. And I apologize for my viewers who are in same-sex relationships or interested in, same-sex partners. The images just come out very heterosexual, so I want to apologize. Either way, whoever it is that you're dealing with, whatever race, whatever gender, whatever person that you're dealing with, I do feel for many of you, you might be the man with the ring, okay? The man who is committed. He is in a relationship. and the relationship is feeling a little bit like the ball and chain, okay? So forgive me for that expression. I have here the Four of Wands. This is a marriage. This is, stability. This is like holy matrimony. And then I have the Eight of Swords resting underneath it. The Eight of Swords is like bondage. It feels a little bit uncomfortable. It feels like it's hard to break out of, and it can feel very restrictive. For some of you, you might be in a relationship and you're questioning the longevity of the relationship. You're questioning, are we in it for keeps? Is my partner um, still wants to work at this with me? Do I still want to work at this with my relationship partner? And then I feel for many of you, there might be like a change of heart where you're in a situation, but it's no longer fun and exciting and new love. Like it's no longer or maybe it has surpassed that puppy love stage, and now we're getting down to the nitty gritty of like the domesticity, the living together, the life that we've created for ourselves. Are we still excited about each other? Are we still happy in this relationship? Are we still willing to work at it? And others, you might be in a relationship where you don't know where things are headed, and you might not feel inspired or passionate or in love in that relationship anymore. And you might be thinking as well, like how else your life could turn out. You might be thinking, I don't feel like it's, like stepping out of a relationship, exploring other options. But I do feel like something here just feels a little bit restrictive. Something in this relationship. That's what I'm sensing. And I feel like for many of you, there could be a situation here where there is communication or another person in your midst that's bringing this change of heart. And I just want to say for those who are watching, and especially if you're resonating with this, I just feel like this home situation happened first, okay? There's something innately possibly unhappy or like dissatisfying in this to begin with. And what I mean by that is, if this is something you feel is worth salvaging, is worth working at, and is worth saving, then you need to take the steps now in order to correct it. Because I feel like the root of the problem is here. It's not this outside person. I feel like it's here. This is where things need to be fixed and mended and repaired. And I also feel like for many of you, it might lack excitement. It might have gotten into like a sense of, like routine, you know, routine, like something is very routine. Something is no longer exciting. Something is no longer passionate. Something is no longer like, is no longer in that puppy love stage. And so how do we bring it back? How do we revive it? What can we do in order to make it better, right? But either way, regardless of whether or not you're dealing with this, I do feel there is a new energy. We have here the Knight of Wands. This is like the embodiment of passion and chemistry. And then we have as well the Page of Wands. This is the same type of energy. And so it's going through a maturation stage. Okay, it starts out as the Page, and then it escalates into the Knight. And so what I'm feeling is there's somebody in your midst, okay, regardless of whether or not you're dealing with this. There's somebody in your midst that's bringing you kind of like a whole new world, a whole new set of eyes to look at your life and the life that you've created. because I feel like it's very different. Like there is a little bit of like domesticity here in your life that is very different from what this adventure, this excitement, this sense of like, bouncing around, being nomadic. So there's domesticity, there is like a nomadic lifestyle, and those two things clash. But in the process of, getting to know the other person, unearthing their lifestyle, and looking at the way they live their life seems very exciting. You're very drawn to it. You're very drawn to this person because they're like your polar opposites. That's what it feels like to me, like polar opposites. And then I also feel like there's a boldness, an impulsiveness, and a rashness coming through from this person because they're very I feel like they're just very courageous. They're very action oriented. They do things, get things done. They don't sit around and mull over things. And they're very like unapologetic. They live their life the way that they want. They don't have to answer to anybody. They don't have to justify any of their decisions the way that you justify your decisions. The way that you have to, get the support and the okay from the people around you before you make major life decisions. This person is like action oriented. They make life decisions and they make decisions for themselves without having to consult people. They go. And so you're looking at this person, and I feel like there is definitely attraction. There's definitely admiration, and also, looking up to this person, wanting to emulate and copy that lifestyle, or the way that they carry themselves. They're so assertive and so self-assured, and I feel that you wish you could be that way. You wish that you could, make decisions without having to second guess. And so if this is a romantic partner or a relationship partner or even a love interest, this is someone that will come to you in a heartbeat, okay? Um, I feel almost like this sense of somebody is coming to somebody else's rescue, okay? And you know that oh yeah, so the third image. Okay, so now it's coming back. So you know the Warner Brothers cartoon. For those of you who are not familiar, it's basically a series of like cartoon sketches. And there's one where there's a damsel in distress. She's tied up, right? She's bound with rope, and they left her on a railroad track. And there's this cartoon train coming towards her, and she's screaming out, and a man comes by and rescues her. So that's like what I'm sensing. But once again, I mentioned that this is a reading that is all about role reversals, that is all about like overturning gender stereotypes. And so what I feel is there might be a situation here where, if you're like the masculine energy, you might be in the relationship and you feel very stuck and very trapped. And there's somebody coming into the picture and they're breathing life into your life. They're breathing new air. They're bringing like a breath of fresh air into your life. And they're fixing your problems. And they're helping you make sense of things. And they're helping you navigate an environment. And they're very exciting, very dynamic. And then I also feel like it's this situation. One person feels very, very stuck. And the other person is like the knight in shining armor. But the knight is not always, the masculine energy or the man. So I feel like there might be a gender role reversal here, where if you're the one feeling very, very stuck, the person that's coming into the picture is, you know, the one that's going to set you free, the one that provides all the answers. And so what I feel is, for some of you, there's this sense of independence, shouldering the responsibilities on your own. You're telling people, like, if you walked a mile in my shoes, you would look at your life with full appreciation, because, like, honestly, I feel that many of you have been through a lot of difficult life experiences. It's a series of life decisions that you have made over the years, and I feel like you've put yourself in challenging position and you have grown from it. But I also feel like you have also become a little bit jaded. And so you were very stoic. You roughed it out. You did it on your own. You shoulder the responsibilities. You didn't whine. You didn't complain. So you have this sense of resilience and inner strength. And then, because you're so stoic and self-sufficient, the fact that you're like this now, like, what do I do? Where do I go? What's my next step? Why can't I figure things out? I need to be able to make this decision on my own. And I feel like the fact that somebody else is coming through, wanting to help, wanting to offer, a hand, wanting to come and rescue you, you don't trust it. And it might be really hard for you to accept this person. It might be very scary for you to trust this person because, honestly, the fire energy is really passionate, and, like, it is very, on the forefront. It's very it's very bold. And so you might not trust that it's going to be sustaining. You might not trust that it's going to be long lasting. You might not trust in the stability of it. And so while it's a it's a good fantasy, you can play out the scenario in your mind. You don't trust this person. And I feel like the one of the reasons why you don't trust it is because you have had to do a lot of things on your own. And so you trust yourself. And you cannot accept this offer because you're very scared that it's going to burn out, that the person might not be around for the long haul. And I feel like, I feel somebody is like admiring from afar. Okay, going back to that scene, that the second scene that I saw, the man and the woman. There's no words, conversation, or anything exchanged between the two of you. You might not be in a position where you're talking to each other. You might be, just not communicating, not expressing your feelings, not, they themselves might not be expressing their feelings, but underneath, I feel like there's a lot of chemistry. There's an undercurrent of love and respect, and, just, I feel like there is definitely a lot of love that can be explored, that should be explored, whatever the situation is. But I feel like there are constraints. I feel like no one is really expressing themselves because they're not in a position where they can give of themselves. A lot of it might be physical things, like another marriage, another relationship partner, or it might not be the right environment because it's a work situation, right? But then I also feel a lot of it is emotional hangups, lack of trust, not wanting to put ourselves out there because the other person might not feel the same way. If you're dealing with a situation where you're kind of looking at somebody and you see them looking back at you, I feel that the feelings are very reciprocal, okay? So the feelings are there. It's definitely worth exploring. So I feel like the message for you in the love department is to give your is for me to kind of like give you that nudge, okay? That the feelings are definitely there. This is somebody on the surface, they might seem very rash and impulsive, okay? But I do feel there's a lot of heart and soul, and there's a lot of stability that can be had. What's crowning this person is the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is kind of like, the wandering nomad, okay? I want to go here, I want to travel there, I want to settle down here, I want to, stay there for a few months and then go to a new location. So this is always someone who's chasing after something a little bit novel or a little bit exotic. However, with this energy, opportunities come to them because they're open-minded and open-hearted. They grab life by the horns, they explore all opportunities. And so, because they're in this space of being easygoing and being, I want to say, like, spontaneous, the opportunities come to them. It's not like they're going out looking for greener pastures or, soliciting people. I don't feel like they're ever in a position where they have to solicit because they're living with their life very open, with their heart very open, and with their mind very open. That opportunities just land on their lap. And so I can assure you, this is not somebody who's going to be here today, gone tomorrow. If they commit wholeheartedly. However, because of this lack of communication between the two of you, they might not know how you feel. They might not know that there is potential here to explore with you unless you give them a sign, unless you give them the little nudge, unless you take this situation seriously and really think about the impact that they're making in your life and especially in your psyche, because I feel like somebody is really, stamping their presence or their seeing this stamp, this seal. Somebody is really making their mark on you. And I feel like, they're making their mark on your psyche, in your life. And they're a huge force in your life right now. And you're afraid to get burned. You're afraid to explore it. You're afraid to go there. You're afraid that their lifestyle is going to overturn everything that you've built for yourself, everything that you consider very valuable, very stable, very predictable, or even very very tangible. Whatever it is that you've worked really hard to build, I feel that you are afraid that this situation might overturn that, okay? At the center of the reading here, we have, this is a symphony, okay? What I feel is the moon is your card, Pisces. This is reaching out through music, through subliminal messages, through like, it's music without like, without the singing, without the lyrics, without the verbal expression. But it's trying to convey something, and music is about conveying deep, deep, deep emotions. And then I also feel like this is a musician as well. He's got his little trumpet announcing his arrival. So I feel like somebody is making themselves known to you, whether or not you are aware, but they are definitely making a gesture, making an effort at flirting the way that they know how. I feel like they have already told you how they feel. And then I feel that you're trying to draw them, but the way in which you do things is very subtle, it's very under the current. And I feel like this person might be missing the signals. So if that's what you're dealing with, if you're feeling like you're sending out these subliminal messages and these signals, but for whatever reason, they're not coming closer, I feel that you have to, be a little bit more bold with your actions, okay? Because this person's got a torch for you. Um, I don't feel like this is something that will fizzle out and leave you heartbroken. I don't feel that at all. Um, and I definitely don't feel like this is somebody that, is, I don't feel like this is somebody that just wants, it's like, it's not a love them and leave them type of a person. I feel that they need a little bit more reassurance, a little bit more ego stroking, a little bit more of a definitive answer from you or a definitive gesture that you're in before they pursue you full force. And they kind of need that nudge, okay? So if anything, I feel like I need to tell you, I feel like I'm guided to just nudge you to go in this direction. All right? Pisces, I hope that it is helpful for you, this reading. I feel that if you let, the relationship, um, if you want to work at this relationship, for those who are in an existing relationship and you feel like the chemistry and the excitement has died down a little bit, this can prove to be a very fruitful month to kind of re-inject romance into the love relationship. If you have this person and you're wondering, what's going on, I feel that they need a little bit more nudging from your end in order for them to come at you full force, okay? And they will. I do feel that they will. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I hope the reading is helpful, and enjoy your time. Take it easy. And I'll talk to you guys soon. And for those who are still emailing me about readings, I have a link in the description box below for a colleague of mine. Her name is Bridget. She's a psychic and she's based out of California. For those who are interested in the reading, I highly recommend that you book a reading with her. She's phenomenal. She's great. And she has been very, very helpful in providing me with insights over the years. So I recommend her wholeheartedly. I wish you the best, Pisces. Take care, and I'll talk to you guys soon.